when they are inside the spacecraft, they will check all the systems, and when can we say the launch sequence begins?
Well, the countdown has already begun because every system, including the launch vehicle and other systems, has already entering the 3-hour countdown. Not only the launch vehicle, and in the Shenzhou 9 spaceship, the ground staff has already checked all the critical systems for this vehicle. When the astronaut on board this spaceship, the most important task for them is to confirm all the status, all the critical status, and also to check their spacesuits. Their spacesuit is very important for the during the launching sequence.
Well, let's take a look at this. There are 4 pictures on the screen. On the lower right, it's the re-entry capsule. This is the lift where they just get out of the lift, the 3 astronauts. That means they have entered the level of the spacecraft. On the left-hand side, in the low part of it, is 3 staff waiting for the 3 astronauts to get into the spacecraft.
Yeah.
That's a very narrow opening.
Yeah, they will enter the spaceship through the orbital module.
The orbital module.
Yeah.
But on the right-hand side is the re-entry module, where they will be taken back home.
Please collect relevant information. Information checking suggests that everything is going smoothly. Here, information checking is normal. Here, information checking is normal.
They will take off their boots.
Before they enter the spacecraft, they have final check on the astronauts, the 3 astronauts.
The computing checking will start in 5 minutes, so please be prepared. Understood.
And in about 5 minutes, the astronauts will leave the umbilical tower and get into the spacecraft, sitting on top of Shenzhou, sitting on top of the launch vehicle. What they are wearing is in-cabin spacesuit.
Yeah, of course. It is quite different from those spacesuits for EVA. To ensure their safety, because there are serious disasters before in the Soyuz 11 mission.
But they have to wear this during the launch.
During the launch,
when they get
entry.
And when they get into the orbit, they don't have to wear this suit any longer. So what is this suit made for? Why do they have to wear a suit during the launch and re-entry?
Well,
they have 2 suits. One is for the launching and re-entry. The other is for the orbit.
In-cabin spacesuits is much simpler than the EVA suits, but still very critical for ensure the safety of all astronauts.
There's always a possibility of a loss of cabin pressure during re-entry, and in that case, having even a minimal suit would be enough to protect them.
Yes.
They have ventilation and oxygen supply system from the vehicle to the suits.
So it's pressurized, and it also provides oxygen.
We must check if it is sealed properly in the vehicle.
But I presume since they don't have an EVA emission this time around, they don't have an EVA suit on board.
Of course, they do not have.
This suit is a pressure suit. It can keep them safe if the leakage happened in the spacecraft, but it's not comfortable or for them to operate.
It's actually closely similar to a flight suit that a military pilot would wear.
Well, it seems the ground personnel have wound up their checking on the boots and on the suit itself, and when everything is done, they will be ready to enter the spacecraft. And 30 minutes to go until they get into Shenzhou 9, and that's when they will probably say goodbye to the Earth and head to the space.
Now we heard from the front that the control center is simulating the launch now.
起飞70 160 133 00秒 911毫秒
Flickering is his backup.
Well, for the latest about what is going on, let's turn over to another reporter of ours, Zhang Nini, who is now at the Beijing Aerospace Command and Control Center. Well, good afternoon, Nini. We've just seen the astronauts are just making final preparations before they enter Shenzhou 9's spacecraft. What is the latest from the command center? What are the preparations over there?
Well, hello, Zhou Yue. We're about to enter the 2-hour countdown before the Shenzhou 9 launch, and right now at the Beijing Aerospace Command and Control Center, the staff have all been in place. And on the big screen behind me, we can see that the astronauts are making the final preparations before they board the Shenzhou 9 spacecraft. And in the middle, we see a satellite map which shows the relevant position of the Shenzhou 9 spacecraft to the observation stations spread across China. When the spacecraft is launched, these observation station will be able to keep track of its flight. And in the right corner, we see a list of numbers. This shows the major points after the spacecraft is launched. For example, at 120 seconds, the escape tower will separate, and at about 154 seconds, the thrusters will turn off, and all the way down to the 555 seconds, that is when the Shenzhou 9 spacecraft separates with its carrier rockets, the Long March 2F. And on the screen above, we see an hourly weather report of the Jiuquan Satellite Launching Center, and today's temperature is slightly higher than 34 degrees centigrade, and the wind speed is 2 meters per second. So this weather is ideal for launching, and we've been constantly hearing the command staff here issuing commands and answering back, so the coordination of all systems are still going on, and we're getting closer and closer to the big moment. So yeah.
Yes, indeed, we're getting very close to that moment. And would you please tell us about another spacecraft, that is the Tiangong-1, the target vehicle, the lab module at the moment? Is it ready for the astronauts to come on board?
Well, I should say it is, because Tiangong-1 has been orbiting for 260 days now, and after it was launched in Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center, the Command and Control Center in Beijing is keeping a close watch of this spacecraft. From the data that have been
hold on, we have seen the astronauts already come aboard Shenzhou 9 spacecraft. After final checks, the 3 astronauts, Jing Haipeng, Liu Wang, and Liu Yang, are inside the spacecraft Shenzhou 9, sitting on top of Long March 2F rocket. It took a little while for them to have the final checks. Now they're getting into their spacecraft.
Very narrow place.
Well, it is not a very big place. They have to move carefully with every move to get into their seats.
This is Liu Wang, because he sits on the right side.
They leave the central seat to the commander.
Yeah,
Jing Haipeng was the last one to enter the spacecraft. He is at the command position, but all of them are sitting with their back to the floor.
Yeah. It's just...
this position looks like a baby.
Like a baby, yeah.
Every seat is designed for the certain person. Every seat is different.
So each seat is tailor-made for the astronaut who is sitting on top of it.
Of course, it is very interesting that in the Mir and International Space Station missions, the seats have to be exchanged between vehicles because they enter the station and leave the station with different vehicle, and they should take their seats with themselves.
I presume this is China's first woman astronaut, Liu Yang, getting into the spacecraft. Well, this is not a very big place. They have to adjust a little bit. Of course, they have been drilling this for at least thousands of times, I guess. They know what they're going to do.
The procedure of entering the capsule is also be well trained.
But why can't we make a bigger place inside the re-entry capsule? It is, seems that the movement are very limited.
Well,
they don't have the luxury of big place.
This has already been the largest re-entry capsule currently used by human beings.
On Shenzhou.
Yeah, it's bigger than that used of the Soyuz.
It must have a psychological effect that you are in such a small place, well, traveling around the world and enter the atmosphere with thousands of degrees of heat outside.
That's why they have the orbital module to give them to give them room to expand when they're in space and spread out.
The inner temperature will be about 25 degrees Celsius, so it is still very comfortable.
That's quite balmy.
Yeah, during the re-entry. Now the commander is entering the re-entry capsule. You can see he has some papers to ensure the status of the vehicle. This is a traditional routine.
He will check.
Well, it is his turn. Commander Jing Haipeng will be the last one to get into Shenzhou 9, the spacecraft. Of course, he's the commander of this mission, and he has to make sure everything is in order.
He will have a routine check and have a record.